Hi, my name's Ken, and I own Good Start Packaging in Bedford, New Hampshire. With my Spark Cash Card from Capital One, I earn unlimited 2% cash back on all my business purchases. And last year, that added up to $36,000 in cash back. That's right, $36,000. Thanks to that, I was able to offer healthcare to my employees. The Spark Cash Card did a lot for my business. Imagine what it could do for yours. What's in your wallet?
Real Capital One customers paid for real stories. Credit approval required.
The views and opinions expressed by tonight's guests and topic of discussion do not necessarily represent the official policy or position of S4, its hosts, syndicated carriers, or anyone associated with this broadcast. Any rebroadcast or reproduction of this broadcast or podcast without express written consent of S4 is strictly prohibited. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to S4 Radio. Coming to you live from the dark side of midnight. Climb aboard as we explore all aspects of the paranormal, from UFOs and Bigfoot to ghosts and astral travel, and all the fringe subjects in between. You have found the cutting edge of paranormal talk radio with your host, Eric Cooper, and our S4 panel of specialists. Prepare to go to the edge.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to S4 with Eric Cooper, broadcasting live from the beautiful mountains of Concrete, Washington. Tonight we are talking about winter preparedness and how to be ready for those cold winter months. We're also going to touch on Paracon this evening a little bit. Tonight on our panel we have our Keith Andrews, astrologer and alien specialist, Chris Dodge of the FMP Aftercare. She is our Aftercare team lead. Myself, Corey Reese, and your host, Forest Moon Paranormal Zone, Mr. Eric Cooper.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Yes, it is a rainy night tonight, but you know what? It's getting on fall, and that's exactly why we're talking winter preparedness tonight. And that goes everything. You know, lately I've been getting asked, how do you get ready for, you know, the cold in the winter? And we're going to talk about that tonight. So how's everyone doing tonight?
Just great, thanks. How about
Fantastic evening.
I'm going to tell you right now, since August 4th, it's been a nut show. And, you know, some updates we've got coming up. On the 16th, we've got a pagan meetup here locally. And before anyone says, oh, you're proselytizing, no, I'm not. Actually, we don't proselytize. That is for the pagans that want to join together. That's all it's for. Because, you know, I've got people that get bent out of shape because I bring up paganism. And, well, that's for our belief. We don't proselytize. If you're not a pagan, I really don't want you to be one. We don't go door to door. We don't preach. We don't, no, we are who we are. And that's all it is. But, oh my God, we've got idiots that just like to talk what they don't know about.
Clearly.
And,
well, you know, I find it kind of fascinating. I've been doing some research into that, and into the belief structures across the board. And ironically, paganism, the mainstream religions, and a lot of the minor religions, if you will, when you look at their belief structure, they're all literally the same. They just use different words.
Right. But, you know, you hear pagan, and a lot of these people automatically say, "Oh, you're one of them devil worshippers." No, actually, we don't believe in the devil. The devil is a Judaic belief system. The Muslims believe in the devil. The Christians, the Catholics, I believe certain Hindu sects, and certain, certain. There's a Middle Eastern culture. It's not the Yazidi, because the Yazidi are actually pagan. But there is a Middle Eastern, the Zoroastrians. There we go. They believe and worship a Satan. But as far as, pagans being devil worshippers, nowhere, that's so far from the truth. It's not even funny. We don't have a devil. I think the closest that people get misconstrued is actually, if you start seeing the image of Pan, who is a Greek god, and he's got goat legs, he's got horns, and oh my God, he's the devil. No, actually, that's Pan. Do a little bit of research.
And we can't have that.
No, but so many people talk ignorance before doing research that they actually look stupid. And, well, there you go. So, real quick, too, I'm not going to address this very much, but FMP is under attack. I'm under personal attack. And it really comes down to rumors. So, I wanted to dispel some rumors. And by dispelling these rumors, we're going to talk about what the FMP goals and mission statement are. Now, if we look at a missing persons case, do we automatically assume alien abduction?
No. You assume that the person's missing.
Thank you. So I shake my head because there's rumors that I'm having to clear up in my own community. That is it true that you said so and so was abducted by aliens? No, actually, we took that case and we looked at it as a missing person, not anything alien. The word alien never even came out of our mouth, so I don't know where that rumor is coming from, other than again, ignorance. So the FMP, Forest Moon Paranormal, because some people will ask what's FMP. Mission is actually as an emergency management or emergency response team for anything paranormal. And then I get asked, well, why are you even looking at missing persons cases? Well, that's not paranormal. It's not paranormal. But some of the aspects of our team with the astral realm, with the astral team, using mediums, psychics, sensitives, they can actually lock onto the missing person's energy and get an idea of where they might be. Is that paranormal? It's not paranormal in and of itself, but the means that we use can be defined as paranormal because it's not normal means.
Want to bet? It's perfectly normal means. It's actually more normal means to use that method than it is to use technology.
Well, for you and me, yeah. But if you talk to the general population, they shake their head and walk away and just think we're all crazy. I get it all the time. So, looking at that note, yeah. And again, it's ignorance. Do a little bit of research. And you talk to a true medium, and they're going to tell you point blank that a medium, when they're actually, doing their work, is probably going to be 70 to 80% accurate. If any medium tells you they're 100% all the time, yeah, just laugh and walk away, because any medium will tell you they're not always 100%, and they're not always accurate.
No, it really depends on what we end up working with.
Well, exactly. It also depends on a lot of different factors involved with the particular case you're dealing with. You might lock onto an energy source that you think is the person's location, and it might not be the person at all. It might be an item of their clothes, or it might be, one of the personal effects that you're actually locking onto. The person themselves might not be there. It all depends on the skill of the medium that's on that case.
Well, yeah, especially if all that we're working with is like a first name. Now,
Right.
you're getting an awful pile of people with the same first name you're trying to track down.
Also depends if the individual's alive or if you're able to do a spirit contact. Because if you're actually talking to the spirit, then obviously they're deceased. Um, Now, there's a way of changing frequency of making contact where you can actually communicate with the living, and it will come across as a form of telepathy in some cases. And then you know they're alive. Because if you're able to change your frequency when you're communicating, there you go. Um, and I do have to address this too. There's people out there that are encouraging their folks to attack S4. And, if you have questions about S4, if you have questions about FMP or anything involving myself, please, by all means, contact me directly and I'll clarify the rumors. But so many go off ignorant propaganda that it gets fed. And we're going to stop talking about that now because this doesn't need to have any attention. So Paracon. Paracon is the 22nd of September. Doors open at 10 a.m. Cedar Woolley at the Skagit County Grange. And Keith, as one of my speakers at Paracon, what are you going to talk about?
Well, I've been debating that. No.
It's a little bit late to debate that one.
Yeah, no doubt. I do believe, if I recall correctly, that we are going to be talking about child hybrids, how to spot them, how to deal with them, especially from the parent standpoint.
Okay.
And of course, we will, depending on how the questions go, we're likely going to end up talking about some of the ships that may be spotted at the time that may help the person identify whether they're dealing with a child. Because sometimes. Go ahead.
Sounds great. I also want you to hit, because the original, and I'm not taking away from anything at all, but I want you to hit on child abduction.
Absolutely. That was actually where I was supposed to go if my brain were working, but, it doesn't work well. But, child abduction and quite frankly, how to cope with it, not only from the parent standpoint, but from the kid standpoint, because I'm sure we're going to be dealing with adults that started when they were kids.
And yeah, exactly. That's actually highly common. Any abductee you talk to is oftentimes they remember events since childhood, and they remember their parents talking about experiences in their childhood, and grandparents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So oftentimes it goes down, bloodline, and that's where the DNA factor comes in, where they're not experimenting, but they're studying the DNA changes in the human factor.
Yeah, that's where it comes in, and of course that's the other thing I'll be discussing is this issue about bloodline, and is there a specific blood type that people have to worry about?
Okay, excellent. Good. So you're right on track. For folks that are looking for a Paracon, you look for we have a 5-foot alien that will be filled with helium that will be hovering above the Grange. So by all means, it's right off the Cook Road exit. And we have Dave Scott coming. He's talking media and disclosure. We have Christina George coming, and she's actually talking about the black-eyed kids. And right along the lines of what you're talking about, Keith, with the indigo children. So, all of our speakers actually correlate quite well. Mike Morin's talking about paranormal investigation techniques and tools. We have Michael Hall talking the legalities of UFO investigation. legal aspects. And then we have Francie. She's our licensed therapist, and she's going to be talking about psychology in the paranormal. So we have, a well-rounded panel of speakers coming. And, of course, we have the VIP roundtable afterwards. Tickets can be found on www.fmparacon.com. It's only $5 to get in the door, and it's the cheapest Paracon you're ever going to find, literally. And I'm not exaggerating because most Paracons cost in the hundreds, $50 to $100 easily. Where ours is $5 in the door, and you get everything. You're not paying by the speaker. You're not paying, you're paying $5 to get in, and you get the whole Paracon all day. So we have a whole bunch of raffles that we're working on. We actually have an investigative kit that will be raffling off individually. Actually, Chris, I want you to jump in and talk about some of the raffles we got coming in, because I know you're getting endorsements for raffle items.
Oh yeah, we're getting donations coming in. It's kind of fun going out and doing them. But we're going to have the grand raffle basket. That's the investigative equipment that you were just talking about, and that's going to be the grand raffle. And then we're going to have a different regular raffle with, like I said, a bunch of these different donations. We're getting food donations, and we actually have a beer making kit, which is really cool. That was donated to us, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have a good time.
Trip is saying we should do a survival kit as well. You know what? That's a good idea. And, I have to look at the financial side because we are tapped as far as our Paracon budget goes. Everything is lining up nicely. Everything's paid for already. And that's something that feasibly I might be able to throw together, though. Don's asking if the speakers are going to be on YouTube after. We don't have, unless we get like a hotspot or something like that, we don't have any kind of internet at the Grange. But yes, it will be recorded. We actually do have Josh Hamilton, the FMP video and photo analyst. He's going to be there with his high-tech equipment. He is going to be videoing the highlights of the Paracon. I'll see about him or somebody videoing the speakers so we can get them up on YouTube as well. But Trip. You know what? We're getting down to 2 weeks. It's exactly 2 weeks tonight that's Paracon, so I don't have time to look for companies unless Chris wants to jump on that and look for companies to donate for a survival kit. That'd be a great idea.
Sure, we can do that. We'll just add it to the...
That'd be a great idea.
Yeah, we can... We're on it. We're on it.
I can tell you this much, that
what's that?
Being in another group that I'm in that does conservation stuff, we have a banquet every year, and then we also do a fishing derby once every year. And usually we get most of our donations within the last 3 weeks just before the event. That's when we get our best and most donations usually.
Nothing like procrastination.
And we're finding that out. That's actually awesome. It is the reception of this community, of this county, of this, this state, and abroad is phenomenal. Because we've been getting the flyers out in the community, and it's either you get one of two responses of, "Oh my God, paranormal! No, go away." Okay, fine, bye bye. Call us when you need us. And then you get the other ones. Oh my God, you guys have a team? Can I join the team? And then you got the ones that are, they're all excited and jumping up and down. And yeah, I'll put the flyer up. I'll be there. So those are the two responses you get. And then you get the ones that they'll put the flyer up, but they're not interested in the paranormal. And that's fine. Not everybody is. It's not for everybody. I do want to throw a plug out for Cole with Statement of Sound DJ Productions. He is our DJ for the day. And you can find him on Facebook, actually, at Statement of Sound DJ Productions. And he is offering his services for free, for promotion, basically. and I have no problem. And I mean, he's a professional DJ company, and can't wait to meet him. He'll be at our planning meeting on the 14th, actually. So we'll actually be getting a face-to-face with him, let him know what we want. He's going to be doing the speaker announcements, the announcements for the day. And I haven't talked to him yet, but we're going to have him doing paranormal music during break times. We also have Steve Montauk coming. He's going to be doing a drone presentation during the lunchtime. And he's been, oh my God, he's been slammed. I know he's in bed right now because he's been up on, this last case we've had, doing countless hours of getting drone footage for the missing persons case we were on that we have dropped. And thank you, Trip. Yes, we do have a fundraiser going on for the FMP hoodies. Get your hoodies to wear to Paracon. We will also have Paracon t-shirts and Paracon mugs for sale at the Forest Moon booth, which Sarah will be running, our medium.
And we also, FMP is also going to be putting on the lunch so they can buy lunch tickets there to have lunch.
Yeah, lunch would be nice. I hope his bugs are big.
And you don't have to leave. You can actually, sit and listen to the vendors until lunchtime. You have your lunch ticket. You go get your lunch and either enjoy the vendors that we have, because we have 8 vendors that are locked in, potentially 9. And then we'll have a reader. We have Kathleen Sweeney is going to come and do readings from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., which is we close at 6, and we start up the round table at 7. Round table also comes with a dinner, and it will be basically the round table. For those that don't understand what the round table is a panel. All the speakers will be on a panel, and the VIP attendees can ask questions. If they don't have questions, then I will be moderating, and I will have my own questions until one of our VIP attendees has a question. This is basically your personal interaction time with the speakers. It's
my understanding that Keith will be there with his books also, correct?
Yes.
That I will.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He'll have a table at the vendor station until he gets up and does his keynote speech. And then he'll be selling his book. And you can contact him. Actually, how can they contact you right now if they want to do a pre-order, Keith? Go ahead and put that out. Because he's only bringing 50 copies, is why I say that. So if you want to let him know you want a copy now, let him know, because he's only bringing 50 copies to sell. And going by the reaction that we're getting with Paracon, we're looking at a potential 300 to 500 people. So he's going to sell his books really quick.
Yeah, the easiest way is at innervoiceenterprises@yahoo.ca. Or, of course, I'm pretty certain if you talk to Eric here or Corey, that I'm pretty certain they can get word to me that you're looking for it. And, of course, then you just pick it up at the Paracon.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, we can make it happen either way.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that if people want the book and you've sold out all of your copies, that they can still get a copy.
And she'll be autographing them, right?
They are. I'm a little ahead of myself. I autographed them ahead of time. But
there you go. Also, we have our roaming alien. We have a roaming alien that'll be walking around Paracon. Actually, I'm looking at it right now. Tanya Cooper, my mother-in-law, is going to be the roaming alien. And you can stop her, get your picture taken. $5 if you want to do a selfie, or $10 if we do it and get you a printed copy. We already have a backdrop. It's a real spooky forest backdrop with an alien. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm hoping we're not talking about the Predator alien.
No, she's let's see. I guess more of a gray. She's more of a gray with a tunic.
Yeah, definitely. It's shaping up to be one heck of an enjoyable run. Last year was a lot of fun, I'm suspecting this year is going to be even better.
Oh, you know what? It's gotten better. This is our third year, and it's gotten better every year. And I do want to say next year we are already looking at the date as September 21st, 2019. So if you can't make it this year because, well, you're in UK or Australia or, you know, we have a lot of international listeners, and if you know, lock in the 21st of next September and start saving up now. We will keep, you know, it's always going to be $5 at the door. We don't do this to make money. We do this, we only charge to recoup what we put into it. So it's never going to go above 5. If it does, maybe $10 at the door, and that's just if we get a keynote speaker like Linda Moulton Howe or, you know, a big name, which would be great, but we just can't afford it because we are a very small organization when it comes down to funding. And Don is saying, gosh, Eric, why so late in the summer? Kids are back in school. And I agree. You know, but I like keeping things, I like repetition. I like keeping things the same. I don't like changes. Maybe one year we'll look at it and we'll make things. We might do more events, you know, earlier in the year. But Paracon is always going to be our keynote event.
Well, the thing I look at, because I've got kids of my own, but at that point in the year, in the school year, it actually, I've found, yeah, and even when I was a kid, it's not that hard on the kids. You know, you miss a couple of days to come down to the Paracon, they learn a heck of a sight. The only thing I caution, like I told mine, you know, my youngest is 13. He's too young for that kind of a trip for the amount of work that I'm going to be caught up in. But you get him up a little, and it can be an awful lot of fun.
And not to mention, it is a weekend. We're always going to do it on weekends. So, you know, and I guess it's easier for locals. But, you know, if your kids miss a Friday, you fly in on a Friday, you do Paracon Saturday, you fly back home Sunday. Most schools ain't going to, you know, it's an educational time for some. Unless, of course, you just think, you know, Paracons or paranormal is crazy, or, you know, you do get that, but it is educational. We do look at psychiatry. We do look at science. You know, we look at all aspects on this team, and that's how we approach our Paracon as well. We also look at the paranormal as a broad spectrum, not just, you know, getting to that real quick. You know, most people hear paranormal, they automatically think of Ghostbusters, they automatically think ghost spirits, hauntings, and, you know, the FMP doesn't take it that way. We take Bigfoot, we take alien abduction, UFOs, the whole spectrum is paranormal. Look at the definition of paranormal. So this is a Paracon, not a ghost con, not a Bigfoot con, a cryptid con. It is a Paracon, and that's exactly how we treat it. So Don's coming to visit in July. You know what? We might actually have another Sky Watch, and we might actually do it in July. So watch the schedule. Right now, I'm the only thing I'm booking out for 2019 is Paracon, but my main focus now as well is October, and October is when we start the new team training schedule. I believe in training. You're not ready for anything unless you're training. I guess that's just the military side of me. Army, 19 and a half years. That's all we did is train if we weren't in combat. If you're not in combat, if you're in peacetime, you're training for war. So if we're not on a paranormal mission, we need to train for it like we are. Whether it's a UFO sighting, whether it's, you know, we're going in to clear a spirit, or pass over a spirit, or, you know, clear out a malevolent entity, whether we're going out in the mountains to look for, you know, check out a Bigfoot report. Just the fact that you go in the mountains to check out a Bigfoot report is dangerous in itself, with, you know, wildlife, with the elements, which is what we're going to be getting to here shortly, with winter coming in. So training is important, and we'll be putting out the new New Year training schedule starting in October here soon. And with that, we'll be looking at a lot more wilderness survival aspects, medical survival, medical aspects. Of course, Paranormal 101, ufology. We're going to start hitting in, I believe Sarah's going to come out and actually teach mediumship. On that note, we also have our next astral class is starting up the end of the month. Hold on. The 26th, I believe, is when Keith said we're starting up another astral school. So if you want to attend astral school, get a hold of me. I'll get you into the lineup, get your application turned in and all that, and we'll go from there.
Hey, I wanted to, just add a couple of things in it. We were talking about Paracon and its dates, and also some of the other stuff we're thinking about doing. One is that, definitely I think what we should do for another Skywatch next year is go for late spring, early summer, so that way we catch it before the fires happen and there's smoke. For one. Right. And for two, when we're talking about Paracon, you start thinking about paranormal stuff. Paranormal stuff is thought about a lot more as you get towards fall, get towards October, Halloween time. So that's kind of why we like to keep it out that way a little bit. It gets it a little more towards the front of people's minds. So
exactly, and originally that kind of was the thought process anyway. Was Halloween because our first annual. Our first Paracon, we had it slated to where it was going to coincide with the community's events. And, that just didn't happen. We're not going to even touch that one. But it just didn't happen. But that was the original thought process of why Paracon was in the fall, in September. Because originally it was... No, it's always been September. Never mind. But why it was in the fall, though, is because, you got... all the people that think the veil's thinning, based on our caseload, there's no difference when the veil is thinning versus when it's not. Halloween's got no effect. I believe the main thing, and Keith, I know you're going to argue with me, I don't believe there's a thinning veil at Halloween based on our caseload. It doesn't increase, it doesn't go down.
You're absolutely wrong. I do agree with you.
Okay. I know we've talked about this before, though.
Well, yeah, but the issue there is it's not a thinning veil. It's more people are paying attention, so they simply notice more.
Right. And I completely agree with that. It's, you have more energy focused on, oh, my God, the spirits are coming out because it's Halloween. Well, yeah, you just saw one because it's Halloween, because you were opened up to it.
Yeah, it's not. The veil itself is perfectly fine.
Right. Okay, Trip. So I got it. Let's see. Since people are asking, yes, it is September 26th. That's when the next class is going to be. So if you take the astral class, I do have to interject this. You will get the basics of astral. You'll get basic astral shielding. You're going to get the basics. Once you're done with astral school, does not mean you're going to be on the team automatically. We will screen you. We will test you. If you pass our screening and our testing, there's a lot more than just knowing astral and knowing astral combat before you're going to be on our team. We look at personality. We look at, do you work well with the team structure? Because you can know all the astral in the world, but if you're not a team player, you're not going to be on this team. That's just the bottom line. Because our team is like a family. I take their safety 100% serious. We have protocols in place. I get asked this all the time, too. Is it dangerous to astral? Hell yeah, it is. You can get hurt. There's people on the team that can attest to the fact you can get hurt on astral. But we do have protocols in place. We take their safety 100% serious. So when it comes right down to it, they never go into a situation they're going to get hurt or killed. Yes, I said killed because you can't die in the astral. Your physical body will die.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I'm going hoarse here. I'm talking too much. But anyway, And yeah, the kids are getting sinus infections and it's allergies. It's fall. It's getting colder. It's raining now, so yeah, we got to start watching health. Um, so, what are some of the aspects? And I know we're going to carry on this topic into the second hour, but what do we need to look at when we're starting to get ready for the cold season? Corey?
Well, some of the things that you got to look at is, how good is the place that you're living? How cold is it going to be? Do you have enough wood to heat your home if that's how you do it? If you got enough heat sources to take care of yourself, you got backup heat sources in case other ones fail. How good is your food stocks? You should definitely have some food stocked up. Canned foods is always good because they don't expire, as well as dry foods. It's good to have some of those basic things, those initial things started, as well as, of course, making sure that you've got plenty of water in case something happens, you get stuck, can't get out, as well as, things for medical emergencies of sorts. I mean, obviously, there's certain things you can't prepare for that require a hospital, but, if you've got a really good medical kit at home of some type, first aid, you should be able to handle a good portion of things that may happen. So it's really making sure that you've got a lot of things prepared. And that's just some of the beginning stuff that I can think of off the top of my head. And, of course, I'll pass it off back to you and the rest of the panel to add to that.
Oh, yeah. But most definitely you hit a lot of the basics right there, and we're going to get a lot more in depth in the next hour as well. What I want to interject too is, especially if you're living upriver, because we're heard terrestrial on KSVU, so I do like to focus a lot upriver for a portion of it as well. And we have a lot of, the last couple of years have been heavy snow, and we have a lot of new folks that move upriver all the time, and they've never experienced a winter up here, and having a generator for backup. If you're on a well, you need a generator, at least for your freezers, because you can always empty your freezer and put it outside if it's snowy out and you lose power. But, right now we have an issue in our home with a power box, so we're actually running our well on generator right now. And so I needed oil for the generator. And for those that are familiar with generators, you need a specific type of oil. You can't just throw your engine oil in there. Some people might, I don't know. You can't throw 2050 or 10W40 or whatever into your generator. You need AE. No, that's the wrong type. Anyway, just 30 weight. None of the gas stations.
That's not quite correct anymore. And
okay,
I have to correct you a little bit, only because I am a certified service technician for power equipment. So most of your oils nowadays, and a lot of what you read, especially if you have an older generator and stuff, is based on the quality and the composition of the oils that were made during that time. Most of your oils nowadays, if they're certified and rated for the newest stuff, will work in your generators and everything else, because they are rated for much higher temperatures due to the fact that they had to be rated for higher temperatures for the new engines that run at higher temperatures in most of your aluminum block fuel injected rigs. So you can get the oil that you need most any place. It's usually a 10W30. Now, mind you, you need to check with whatever your area may be, because there are certain ratings, 10W30, 1540, and 2050, all that have temperature ranges. So you need to make sure you have the correct oil for the temperature range that you're going to be running in. That's the key ticket for the most part. You have the differences between your standard mineral oils, and you have full synthetics, and sometimes blends. Synthetics usually work just fine. Most places around, you can find a John Deere dealership usually pretty close to you because they're pretty popular in most places. I can tell you right now that John Deere's oil meets or exceeds most all oils on the market. So you can always just go down and buy a couple of quarts of the 10W30 John Deere oil or 10W30 Honda oil or any of those, and it'll go right in your generator. Doesn't really no matter what it is, and it'll work just fine.
Yeah, and Trip just read my mind. Yeah, I was just about to say, read the manual and keep the manual in a Ziploc bag. And we just got a generator just because we have this issue, and it's sitting there running the water right now. But yeah, read the manual. My manual says SAE30. So that's all I'm going to put into it is SAE30. And I went today to the local gas stations and the local store, and nobody sells SAE30. And I was like, really? We're upriver. And it's getting on cold season. You might want to start stocking SAE30 for the people that are running generators up here. Oh, well, that's a good idea. Well, come on now. We're upriver. You got generators, and some people only use SAE30. I'd start stocking on it.
That's because
fall into the category of duh.
Well, and that's because like I said before, most of your stuff nowadays, they still say SAE30, especially for break-in time if it's new, but most of your stuff anymore will run the 10W30. It will work just fine. So, most of the time you're only going to find SAE30 at places that sell power equipment. And that's really what it boils down to. Most of your gas stations and stuff aren't going to carry that because no car takes it. So it's one of those things that you're going to have to look for that. If you want that specifically, you're going to have to look someplace that sells power equipment.
Well, that's I can tell you about military generators, but there's a difference between military generators and civilian generators. They're set up the same. I get that. But a military generator, for example, we have to do separate grounds. They take engine oil. They don't take SAE30. They take 10W40. So that's where I'm geared. I'm not used to a civilian generator. I'm used to a military style. We could sit here and talk about generators alone for another 20 minutes, but we're not going to. Basically, with a military style generator, however, we could if you want. But with a military style generator, you have to have a grounding rod that goes a good, I want to say 2 to 3 feet. And like in Iraq, we were actually adding salt water into the soil to neutralize. And so, that's where my knowledge comes from. It doesn't come from these civilian generators. So if you want to sit and talk a little more about generator safety and what kind of ratings we need to talk about, we could go ahead. By all means, people need to know.
Well, and that's where I come in.
Exactly. That's why I said talk about generators for a little bit.
Okay, I'll give you kind of a quick overview on some of the stuff. A lot of generators are set up very differently. You've got a lot of your generators, they come what they call neutrally bonded to ground, which means that if you use it on a construction site, you don't have to worry about having a separate ground into something else. However, if you use it on your house, you have to unbond that neutral because your house is grounded, and basically all it'll do is it'll flip the switch. That being said, also that if you're going to use a generator on your house, and I mean to run your house, not just to plug in a couple of freezers or something, which would be okay. If you're going to run a generator on your house, you have to have a transfer switch. The reason for that being is that if the power goes out, and you have a power person up on a line somewhere working on it, and you're running a generator that's pumping power into your house, and you don't have it switched off for up to the main power source, it will run power back up those lines, and it will amplify up on the transformers on the poles, and you'll kill somebody. So, that being said, you have to make sure you have a transfer switch if you're running your home completely off a generator. Secondly, a lot of people make this mistake that don't understand. Never, ever, ever run a generator inside your home. Those generators are running gasoline that turns into carbon monoxide. It will kill you very quickly and very silently. You won't even realize it. You'll just go to sleep, and that's all there is to it. So never, ever, ever run a generator inside your home. It has to always run outside with a lot of air being able to pass by it, not just for getting the exhaust gone, but also for the engine to be able to cool properly. If you are running a generator that isn't neutrally bonded, and you should make sure that you find out about that, then there again comes into looking at your manual. Make sure that you run a ground, which means that you take a nice metal steel stake of some sort and you run it about 2.5 feet into the ground, and you put a wire to it, and you put it to the ground on the generator. This is for your safety so that you don't get electrocuted. And then also make sure that the power rating of your generator will handle the load that you're trying to put to it. Those are the main things right there. The other thing is make sure that you've got fuel stabilizer in your gas. Gasoline nowadays, if it isn't in an absolutely sealed container that is in a nice shady spot out of any sun or oxidizer, it doesn't last very long. You might get a couple months out of it. Most generators sit around for quite a while, so make sure that you have plenty of fuel, good fuel stabilizer in your tank if it's going to be setting a while, because otherwise you go to pull it out when you need it and it will not start. Those are a lot of the basic things right there.
Exactly. Totally agree. And you're a generator guy, so I figured we have you do a real quick block of instruction on generator safety and whatnot. And carbon monoxide is no joke. It's an invisible gas. You won't even know it's there until it takes the oxygen out of you. And generators cause monoxide. People that bring their barbecue inside because the power went out, or your barbecue will bring monoxide in. And it's no joke. Those are all part. Huh?
I've had experience of death in my family of carbon monoxide poisoning, and it can kill a child within 2.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That quick. Yeah, it's bad stuff.
Well, the problem with carbon monoxide is carbon monoxide bonds to the red blood cells where the oxygen normally would bond to it that you need to live, thus blocking any oxygen getting to your body. That's why it kills you so quickly.
Right. You won't have any oxygen. You start turning blue. That's when you need to start going outside.
And there's no smell to it.
Nope.
No
it is odorless, tasteless gas that you'll have no clue. That's why a lot of the homes today have monoxide detectors in them.
Yep.
Well, yeah, because I've dealt with it personally, and when from the time you realize it's hitting you, you've got, if you're lucky, 3, maybe 5 minutes, but usually 3 minutes to get out of the house to get somewhere where you can get an oxygen flow.
Right. And most of the time, if you catch it quick enough, you can get outside, start breathing deep, and you'll be okay.
Oh, yeah.
Once you start getting that oxygen flow coming back in. But it's a matter of catching it, which is why a lot of the homes now, and Don's saying, up there, heaters are more of a worry. And, that's another thing. Before it starts getting real cold, get your furnaces serviced. Get your filters changed. Get your furnaces serviced. Get your chimney cleaned out. Because it starts getting cold. People start firing up the fireplace. They don't check the furnace, their chimney, and we start having chimney fires. Keep the fire department bored. Fire departments are happy fire departments. They just don't.
I like seeing them sitting around when they're able to, doing nothing, because that means somebody isn't putting themselves out of a home.
Exactly. And up here we have volunteer fire departments, and when I was with the fire department up here, I remember we had 2 calls in one day, and that was busy because we might go for a month without a call or a couple weeks without a call, and that was fine. But keep the fire departments bored. Because if the fire department is bored, everyone's being safe, everyone's doing the right thing, or just not getting caught doing the wrong thing. But that's why we have, S4, yeah, we're a paranormal show. We talk about the dark sides of the paranormal, but we also like to talk about disaster prep and, seasonal prep when it's time. So another thing you got to think about, I know we're getting close to the top of the hour, but before it starts freezing, if you have a well, make sure you have a lamp on your well pump so you don't have a frozen well, because, again, then you have no water. If you've ever been without water, you'll really understand quick the importance of why you need water. You can't wash your hands. You can't get the coffee going. Oh, my God. You
priorities
can't
first, eh?
right? You can't flush but you can't flush your toilet. There's a lot of little things that people don't get if they don't have water. Until
there's the other problem you run into if you don't have the heater on that thing, and that is that you blow the pipes all over the floor.
Exactly. But yeah, get a. Go ahead.
One of the things I want to add in there real quick, and this covers both heaters for heat inside as well as heaters that are going to be indoors, keeping things from freezing. Make sure it's an indoor safe heater. It takes same difference with the carbon monoxide with those things too. If you don't have a heater that is indoor safe, you can end up dying pretty quickly.
Exactly, because you'll turn that heater on, you'll go to sleep, and you just won't wake up. Don's saying, yeah, learn how to purify water. Purify water. The quickest way, boil it for 2 minutes at a hard boil. Or just get hydrochlorite. I think I said it right. Yeah. Hydrochlorite tabs. They're cheap, they're easy to find. You drop a couple in a quart and you're good. If you're out of water, you can actually, it sounds gross, but you can actually use your toilet bowl, toilet tank for fresh water. You can also use your hot water heater for fresh water. Talking about the first freeze, again, get heater lamp on your water pump. And what we do is, in my house, we leave a couple of the faucets dripping, just to keep that water flowing.
See, I know people out on the prairies. They use a heat tape around the pipes.
I was just about to get to that. That was my next point. They also make, if you have outdoor faucets, get those. They actually sell them in Home Depot. They sell them in Lowe's. They're styrofoam and they fit right over your outdoor faucets to keep the faucets from freezing. So yeah, there's a lot of home safe things you can do to prepare for the winter. Again, like I said, make sure your chimney's clean before you use your fireplace. You never know what's living in there. You never know how much soot is built up to very quickly start a chimney fire. Make sure your furnaces are serviced. All your filters are changed out before you get that dust storm in your house when you fire it up for the first time.
I was going to add one thing, Eric. I don't know how many listeners have actual in-ground pools, but a lot of people that I've talked to don't know this trick. If you have an in-ground pool, you're in an area where it's going to freeze, you throw a pallet in your pool. It will not freeze around it, because if that pool freezes, it'll pop out of the ground.
Okay.
So just a wooden pallet. So that's just kind of a extra little winter trick there. I figured I'd just throw in.
Excellent. Because well, that's why we have a panel, because I can't sit here and think of everything. I don't have a pool, so
Well, a lot of us around
yard.
Yes, a lot of us around here don't, but you never know where all the listeners are listening from. So.
Oh, we're a global show, so somebody out there's got a pool. By all means.
And now they know a new trick.
Exactly. So let's see. I don't want to get into a heavy topic, because we're 6 minutes out from the top of the hour.
I got one for you.
Go ahead.
I got one thing that I'm always nervous about in the wintertime is driving. I mean, your vehicle.
That's going to be the next hour.
Yep.
Because I have a whole set of things I want to talk about with what to put in your car.
Mm-hmm.
And,
you got about 2 minutes before we go to commercials, so
okay.
You got a little bit of time.
So if you're driving and you start sliding, this will only take 2 minutes, so we're good. If you start sliding, you always turn into the skid. So many people, they turn the opposite direction and they wind up doing donuts, and they wind up in the ditch. And you know what? Another thing you want to throw out, because you see that all the time. I've got a 4x4 with 20-inch rims and four-wheel drive. I can just drive as fast as I want because I'm in a 4x4. Not true. You know what? Ice will grab you anyway, and your 4x4.
Yeah,
you're pretty
black
4x4.
Doesn't care what you're driving.
No.
The other thing where it comes to that is get your foot off the gas. Don't stomp on it.
Yeah.
Hey, four-wheel drive just means four-wheel slide. I don't care who you are. Four-wheel drive helps you get up to speed. It helps you slow down and stop. It does not prevent you from sliding around if you're an idiot.
Or if
that's
you're
just
not,
the bottom line. Yeah, it's if you're going to be out there driving stupid, I don't care if you got a four-wheel drive or not. I can't tell you how many four-wheel drives I've seen in a ditch when snow was happening because they thought they could just scream down the road. Wrong.
And pass 5 cars because they're all going 20 miles an hour because there's heavy snow, and they're the first ones to wind up in the ditch.
Yeah, most four-wheel drives just help you get out of situations.
Yeah, and that's pretty much why your four-wheel drive is when you do slide it, get stuck, throw it in forward low and roll out slow.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and go into break, Corey, and we'll start talking more intense winter prep and how to survive in the wilderness in the snow and in the winter prep, as well as what to put in your car.
Yeah. All right, when we come back from the break, we'll continue our talk on winter prep as we got a lot of stuff to go over still yet. Tonight on our panel, we have R. Keith Andrews, astrologer and alien specialist. We have Chris Dodge of the FMP Aftercare team, myself, Corey Reese, and Eric Cooper of Forest Moon Paranormal. Join us every Saturday night at midnight Pacific Standard Time. You can find us on Spreaker.com and the Fringe FM. And for you local listeners, you can catch our shows on KSVU 90.1 on your FM dial on Saturdays from 10 p.m. to midnight. Please go to thefringe.fm and check out the show lineup with shows like Lighting the Void with Joe Roop and The Paranormal Code with Rich Giordano and a plethora of other good shows. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back.
This is Joe Roop from Lighting the Void, and you're listening to KTOK Digital Broadcasting Station, The Fringe FM.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. There's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com.
Select Joe Roop at checkout at ancientlifeoil.com.
This is Mary Ellen Popick of the Sanctuary for Mind, Body, and Spirit. Listen on the Fringe FM every Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern, where we talk all things mind, body, and spirit. You'll learn things from the esoteric to modern-day health, as well as hear from incredible special guests. There will be something for everyone each week, so don't miss it. That's every Monday night, 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the Fringe FM. See you there.
Reclaim your active lifestyle with Angioprim. Angioprim is the original liquid oral chelation supplement. Chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in your veins and arteries that can cause blockages. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. Find out more. Go to angioprim.com. Talk to a trained consultant by calling Angioprim toll-free 877-882-7221.
This is author Gordon Roop of GordonRoop.com, and you're listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM.
How you doing today, guys? This is Garrett Lee.
And this is Randy Warner.
From the Healers and Hellraisers podcast.
A podcast about people.
You're going to hear stories from the enlightening to the frightening.
Told by those who lived it.
Listen right here on the Fringe FM.
Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and on the Fringe Free-For-All, right here on the Fringe FM.
Hey folks, guess what the number one phrase that Life Change Tea receives by email? You ready? We love this tea! We love this tea! Time after time, week after week, we love this tea! Life Change Tea gives you more energy, a beautiful cleansing, and fulfills its slogan perfectly. The tea that makes you go. So if you want to be on your health game, log on to getthetea.com and order Life Change Super Strength Tea. Packages come in a 1-month supply, and when you brew this stuff, wait until you see the results. Aren't we all about the results? And with a lot of people's health struggling, we can use a little bit of help. Doctors will tell you disease starts in the gut. So log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Be our next email saying, I love this tea. I love this tea. Get the tea at getthetea.com. Helping America one tea bag at a time.
This is Reverend John M. Polk from johnpolkmedia.com, and you are listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM.
Paranormal radio hasn't changed much in the last 20 years. It's the same boring, safe, and easy radio. The guest comes on, the host asks questions, the guest answers, end the show, right? Not with the Paranormal Code. You actually get entertainment. You actually get information told to you the way it should be told. Very truthful, very direct. I'm your host, Rich Giordano of the Paranormal Code. You can listen to me Monday through Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific on the Fringe FM. I hope to see you there.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app. Free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Hi, this is Ryan Gable, host of the Secret Teachings radio show. If you are interested in ancient knowledge and hidden mysteries, as well as a unique and balanced perspective on conspiracies, symbols, and the occult, then join me every Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Fringe FM.
Hey, this is Kurt Green from the Kurt Green Hour. You're listening to KTOK, the Fringe FM.
Welcome back to S4 Radio.
Welcome back. For those of you just joining us tonight, we are talking about winter prep, getting ready for those cold winter months. On our panel, we have R. Keith Andrews and Chris Dodge. Welcome back, everyone.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
I suppose we should say welcome back to you, too, because you don't get that very often.
Nobody cares.
No. They hear you all the time. All right, got my coffee warm up. We're good.
I got me some sweet tea, so we're ready to rock.
All right, one more hour. So we're talking cars, vehicles. If you're upriver, I highly suggest you at least have one 4x4 in your family. Whether it's a Subaru, I mean, even a Subaru, they're 4x4s. We have an Explorer and an Expedition because, we have a large household. So if we have to evacuate, if we have to jump in the truck and roll, we have to have enough, room for the entire family. And that's kind of what you got to look at when you're looking at size of vehicle. Make sure you at least have one four-wheel drive. We have more snow upriver the higher up you go. Marble Mountain gets more snow than Concrete does, for example. So if you're in Marble Mountain, for example, you definitely need a generator and a four-wheel drive. I know people, up in Marble Mountain that have been stuck for a week at a time based on road conditions because they don't always get up all the way up to Marble Mountain, for example, to clear the roads. And Don's saying front wheel is better. I would agree. You definitely don't want a rear wheel drive. Rear wheel drives really suck in snow. I had a Pontiac Sunbird when I was a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can pull such a nice donut when you hit on a rear wheel.
That's what I was going to say.
But if you're just trying to go down, Fur Hill in Mount Vernon, and I had concrete bags in the trunk, and I still slid sideways all the way down the hill, and that was going slow. Rear-wheel drives are not made for icy conditions.
Well, they make sure that your heart still works.
Yeah, that too. However,
I remember doing that one day. I pulled a 720 going by somebody else. That was a lot of fun. We just waved at each other.
If you have, growing up again, we had a front wheel drive. We had not a Subaru. We had a Ford Escort front wheel drive. We had a Honda front wheel drive, and we were just rolling up to Lake Tyee and passing 4x4s in the ditch that were stuck and couldn't get out. Front wheel drive is great, but again, don't get overconfident. That's the main thing. Drive smart. Don't slam on the brakes. If you slide, turn into it. Don't turn in the opposite direction. Turn into the slide, and you'll pull out of it.
The basic idea of driving in snow is everything is gentle. You want to be gentle and ginger with everything, but your turns need to be soft and smooth and easy. Your braking and gas need to be exactly the same. Driving in snow is gentle if you want to get there.
Totally agree. Now, what do you put in your car? First of all, I always suggest people at least keep a half tank of gas. Preferably a full tank, but not everybody can afford that because, gas prices here, you're paying $3.49 a gallon if you're local. Still $3 a gallon. And I won't even talk about Canadian rates. You guys are paying equivalent of $6 a gallon in Canada.
Yeah, I was going to say you guys have it, nice and cheap. Really,
we have it good. But I'm actually comparing it to the South, where they're still paying $2 a gallon, $2.20 a gallon. Here in Washington, we're paying on the higher end $3.49 locally, and so it's not always feasible to fill up your tank, and at least keep a half tank. I also keep in stock in my garage the water. I can't remember what they call it, but the fluid you put in your gas to take out the water, frozen fuel lines, things like that.
Called heat.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, the other two things I always keep in mine is a de-icer. I always keep handy for your locks and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
But also highly recommended, just in case you run out of gas, is keep a heater that you can plug into your into the lighter.
Yeah, there you go. I've got Army brothers in Alaska, and if you're in Alaska, you're already ready for this. You're already fully prepared. They have engine block heaters, things like that, because you're talking Alaska. You're talking. I know 10th Mountain Division. They're in New York. Fort Drum, and they go through winter training right there in New York, because New York is worse than us when it comes to winter temperatures. In Alaska, they have cold weather training up there all the time. Trip. Go ahead.
That's what I get a kick out of is the number of people that come here. Like I'm up in the Okanagan in BC, and we get people coming in from New York complaining it's so cold. And yet, if you look at the geography of it, a lot of the time they're further north than we are.
Yeah, and it's colder.
Yeah.
they get more snow. And Tripp's in the chat room. He's jumping ahead of me here. He's talking hand warmers and blankets. We're getting there. What do you keep in your car? Before that, to get your car ready for the winter, I would get an oil change. I would check your tires, get your tires changed. Make sure if you use them, if you don't have a four-wheel drive, make sure you have tire chains. Let's see what else.
You're missing a critical one there.
Coolant,
antifreeze. Make sure that stuff is right on the money. Otherwise, you'll have a problem.
Yeah.
I was getting there. In the military, in the military, when we got the Humvees ready to go for winter, and I always used to mess with the privates because I'd tell them, you got to change your winter air. You put winter air in the tires, and yeah. But it's part of initiation. But yeah, make sure the tread on your tires is good. Get your tires changed out. Here in some areas, it's mandatory to have winter tires put on, and they actually have studs, metal studs, for when it's actually snowing. It's illegal after, I believe, April. Then they have to put their summer tires or whatnot back on. But yeah, the coolant we put in for the Humvees had to be a negative 30. Antifreeze rating. And we have testers for that. And I think I still have testers in my garage to test the coolant level. But yeah, make sure you have antifreeze in your coolant or in your radiator to keep your system from freezing. So that's the basics of your car. Unless I'm forgetting something. Am I forgetting anything, Corey, as far as getting your vehicle ready?
No, I mean, you just want to make sure, that things are serviced up as best as possible, ready to go, so that you're not going to have a failure in a time of need. Again, the antifreeze is kind of the critical thing. I think most of the antifreeze I do is all negative 50, so it's
right.
I make sure that we're all solid there. As long as you've got the car in basic mechanical good shape, you should be all right. The next thing is what do we need in them?
Yeah. Oh, and another thing, real quick, is your windshield wiper blades. Make sure they're good, because some of the most minor things you don't think about are critical when it starts snowing and raining, and all of a sudden you can't see because your wiper blades are shot. And your heater. Make sure your heater's going. That's more critical than you realize when you need it. So what do you put in your vehicle? Extra blankets. What goes in my truck? Extra blankets, warmers. I always go get a case of the hand warmers and feet warmers from Costco. I'll be talking to David down at the Cash and Save here in Concrete about what he needs to stock up in the store for people to buy. A good toolbox, good toolkit. You need to have a good toolkit. A good medical bag. You never know what you're going to come across. So extra blankets, first aid kit, kitty litter, a shovel.
And frankly, especially if you've got kids, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have some sort of snack bar.
Yeah, snacks. Snacks are good. So in the chat room, we've got them adding, a coffee can, toilet paper, and lighter fluid. That makes a real quick stove. Don saying snowsuit, snacks, and water. Excellent tips. That's why I love having the chat room. Go ahead.
I'd say on a personal level also, if you're a regular medication taker, to keep extra medication in your car.
Good
that
tip.
makes total sense.
Excellent.
Yep.
And,
one thing I'll add to that is make sure that the extra medications either have with it a prescription paper or is in a prescription bottle. Because if a cop pulls you over, they don't care. It has to be in one of those or they'll nail you.
All they see is a pill. And are you Are you prescribed to take that pill? Good points.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, I keep a tow rope. I keep a heavy duty set. You can get a basic set of jumper cables. I prefer a heavy duty set because the bigger the battery, the heavier the charge. I do have a heavy duty set in the truck.
Bearing in mind that the thing I like doing beyond that is carrying an actual booster pack. It saves you having to wait for another car.
Exactly. Good points. Tripping is saying jug of water and change out your water monthly. Good idea because you can dehydrate quick in the winter because you don't think about drinking water. And so some of the medical conditions you can get in the winter as well, chilblains. Chilblains is the first very basic indicator that you're in trouble. Chilblains is when your hands start hurting. If your hands start hurting because they're cold, that's called chilblains. The next step after chilblains, you can go into frostbite. And that's where actually the tissue in your hands and your feet starts freezing. So when you're talking winter survival in the mountains, socks are important. A stocking cap's important. Keeping the heat from leaving your body is important. That's how you get into hypothermia. If you've ever had hypothermia, it ain't fun.
Your brain goes on hold.
Oh yeah. If you go into the stopping shivering mode, you're in serious trouble. That's basically when your core temperature drops to the level that your body can't function anymore. And that is the next step after frostbite. When I was in search and rescue training years ago, and we were up, I can't remember what height we were at. We were up at Bear Creek, up in Pilchuck area. And we were on a 3-day mission. And I went into hypothermia. I recovered from it, obviously. But, when you get into the mode where you stop freezing, or when you stop shivering, you are in trouble. And that's where you need to get warm fast. And, Don's saying a good point. If you're out and you start to sweat, and that comes to the next point that we'll be talking about is what you pack when you're going to go up in the mountains. You always want to dress in layers. I can't remember the name of the company, but it's actually a sweat wick. Clothes that actually pull the sweat out. Because once you start sweating, you're going to drop your body temperature. And then you're in trouble. So dress in layers to where you can, if you start getting hot, you can take one layer off. And we're still okay. So we're still on vehicle packing. Road flares. Let's wrap the vehicles up. So road flares. I also keep shovels to dig yourself out if you have to. Check expiration dates on everything. When flares do expire. Good points, tripping. What else are we missing, guys?
Well, one thing I want to add in too is a lot of your new cars and vehicles nowadays don't come with a spare tire or any tools to change a tire. What I would do, and they've done that they've done that just to be cheap, is what the reality is. But their excuse is, well, it lightens the car up so you get better gas mileage. Well, that's crap. But anyways, basically,
gas mileage and can't get there.
Yeah. What I would recommend at minimum is to have, and some of them come with it and some of them don't, is to have a battery-powered air compressor. Usually you get one that can plug into your cigarette lighter. And two is to have a can of Fix-A-Flat. That's minimum. What I would mostly recommend, if you can possibly afford it, is to at minimum go get yourself one of those, what we like to call a donut spare. And because they're a little bit smaller and they're easier to deal with, get a donut spare and have a jack and a basic cross type tire iron, so that you can, if you come into a situation where you have to, you get flat, you can, usually fairly quickly you can get the jack out, get it jacked up, get the tire off, get a new one on, get the other one on, and get back on the road. Because it's not always going to be a successful thing with just a can of Fix-A-Flat and a tire pump, because sometimes you hit something out there somewheres, it puts too big a hole in your tire. I've ran across that before. So try to be as prepared as you can with that. Check your car out. If you've got a newer car, make sure that's got some of that stuff in it, or see if it has a spare, and if it don't, start trying to get the stuff together for it. Because for wintertime, things get trickier. I mean, you think about the spring and the summer, sometimes even the fall, it's fairly warm, everything is fine, you can wait for somebody to come by. But if it's wintertime, it's freezing, it's icy, people are staying home, you may not get somebody coming by for quite a while, if at all. So you want to try to have that prepared for that emergency, because without a tire, you ain't going nowhere.
Nope, not at all. I mean, Don's saying trap hatchet and fire starter and a tarp. Oh, I'm sorry, not a trap hatchet, a tarp. A tarp, a hatchet, and fire starter. Good points. I also recommend, if you don't have a CB, get a CB, and keep your cell phone charged. Keep some extra cash in your car. Someone would argue with that, because, if someone breaks into your car, they get your cash too. But, $20, just enough, and keep changing your car. So it used to be you keep a couple quarters to find a payphone. You won't find a payphone too often anymore. Some small towns still have them, but we don't.
Well, with regards to the money, it's always, you can always put it in an envelope and stuff it in your trunk.
Yeah, true. But yeah, keep it at least $20. Just stashed away in your car for when you do get stuck. Keep your cell phone charged. Keep the charger in your truck. And I was going right there, Ronald. Ronald says CB radio, good one. Completely agree. And I actually do have it's a cheap CB, but it plugs into your cigarette lighter, and it's just made there for emergencies. But I am an advocate of CB radio, so definitely encourage CB radio. That way you can call for help. Channel 9. Channel 9 is the universal emergency channel. So what else? I do also carry a 6-foot pry bar. That's also used for if I come across a vehicle accident, I can pry doors open, things of that nature. Break windshields out if I have to get people out.
I think once you have your vehicle prepped and all of your things in the vehicle, you got to also remember in the wintertime, make plans to leave earlier for work. You never know what's going to happen. So people need to adjust their schedules, too, according to the weather.
Exactly, yeah. Leave at least 30 minutes before you usually leave, because the earlier the better. If you get to work early, so be it. But better to get to work early and be safe. And, yeah.
And like Corey touched on, you go basically slow and steady. So you're going to have to adjust your time, adjust your driving, and adjust your speed.
Well, yeah. I mean, and even if you do end up getting there early, the fact of the matter is you're a whole lot more relaxed if you've got
Right.
the extra time to drive.
And also that you got there.
Yeah.
Well, and on that note too, I'd be thinking you might want to have an extra change of clothes and things you might want at work if you get stuck at work. Because you never, we haven't had a real good blizzard here, but you never know. The earth changes. We don't know what's going to happen from year to year. We have years where we don't have any snow, and you just don't know.
Yeah, you definitely want changes of clothes. Me, myself, being a boss, I've had employees come in wearing their snow boots to work, and that doesn't quite cut it. So, yeah, definitely changes of clothes and shoes.
So, yeah, because you never know if you're going to be stuck at work. If you're stuck at work and you don't have a change of clothes, personal hygiene kit, so you can, find a shower. Or I understand not all businesses have a handy shower to go take one, but
but all of them do have a sink.
Exactly.
Yep.
And you might find a truck stop or something that you can take a shower in, but without a sanitation kit, personal, you're just kind of screwed. So prepare for it. So what do you pack if you're going to go on a hike? Now, not everyone's going to go on a hike in the mountains. On our team, you never know. If we have a terrible case, right? But if you have if our team, for example, gets a Bigfoot sighting or some sort of emergency, where we do have to go up in the mountains, what are we going to pack? We actually have a packing list that we go off of. Every one of the teams got it. If you're joining our team and start doing training with us in October, you'll get a copy of it. But you have to have, at a minimum, a stove, hand and foot warmers, extra change of clothes or two, stocking caps, gloves, extra socks, 2 or 3 pair. Prepare to be cold. Prepare for rain. Prepare for the elements.
Well, I can say this. Unless you're on an emergency team of some sort, whether it be like our team or a fire department or a search and rescue team or something like that, here's a good tip for wintertime hiking. Don't.
Well,
I'm with you on that personally.
And I agree. And the average person isn't going to. So you don't have to worry about that so much. But we have people that go missing in the mountains in the wintertime all the time. Snowboarders, skiers, the extreme sports kind of people. Are they stupid? No, I don't think so. They enjoy what they do, but they don't prepare for it if they, get hurt or get off on the wrong trail. To each their own. But preparation is the key. A basic first aid kit, and and I think Don's hitting the good point is the good to know how. It's the information, the experience, knowing how to react, things of that nature. We have people missing all the time in the winter months. The case we're looking at potentially getting involved with now, as a matter of fact, involves a couple of guys that were missing back in November. So, I mean, we have people missing in the winter months all the time.
Wait a minute, they're missing back in November?
Yeah.
Like we are talking like almost a year here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And we have been asked to come in and check it out. And you know what? On that note, I'm going to hit that real quick. Anymore, if we do have missing persons cases, our team will not get involved unless the family asks us in. That's the only time we'll get involved. And we don't have a good boots on ground resource right now. So the only aspect of where we will get involved is we'll have the team try to get a peg on the individual or individuals, get a location, point it on a map, and send out Steve with the drone. We'll let the family know, check this area out, and they can get boots on ground. Until we actually get a resource to where we have our own boots on ground, then we'll jump on it. But for the time being,
that right there shows the advantage of having FMP do a search, because we have the resources and the people in this group that have their specialties that can help so much. Instead of sending a group out into the wilderness or out into the weather, we have other people, like you said, the mediums, the psychics, the astral, that can really help. And it's such an advantage that this team has to be able to help.
Oh, right. Yes. Speaking of that, just a quick little note. We had a missing, of all things, a missing pup out this end that I was called in to find, and we tracked it down. The report I got back was that we nailed it down almost to the square inch where the thing was trapped.
Yeah, it's just, you know.
And you know, our you were involved with a case about a year ago, Keith, actually, where we had a missing individual, and between you and Tony, you pegged it right down to a description of a park in the town. And when that individual's friends were told where to go, they went to that location, and they found him right where we said he was. So we have a good track record.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the problem we have with this aspect and with this kind of team is not getting listened to. We've had other cases where we've actually pegged the location, and because we weren't listened to and were ignored, the individuals found too late. But they were found right where we said they were.
Ran into that myself.
And I want to clarify, nothing current. We're not talking current cases. We're talking current, cases in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Because the case we dropped out of, no, that individual has not been found yet. And I'm not going to go into that. But that's the problem. That's the problem with the public and with the naysayers out there that, talk about what we do, is we don't get, mediums, astral team, psychics in general don't get paid attention to. And that's a disadvantage, which is why we're not going to be getting involved with missing persons unless the family themselves requests us. And that's just the way it's going to be.
Curiosity, but what if, and I'm just call it the devil's advocate, but what if the police come to you, which would be a shock in itself, but what if they come to you and ask?
Well, that's fine. That's fine. We'll get involved. But, just us finding a situation where someone's missing and us taking a look at it, that's not going to happen. We have to be called into it.
Yeah.
Whether it's law enforcement or whether it's family. But I'm not going to put this team in the kind of crap we just went through again.
No,
that's just the bottom line. We're not going to go through the attacks and the slander that we've been dealing with for the last month. Not going to deal with it anymore. So
no, it's not worth it.
No, it's not. It's very draining, very annoying, and not going to deal with it. This team is too valuable to put up with it. Let's see.
Something else about being, when you're out hiking, or for that matter, trapped on the side of the road, is, especially in the wilderness, something to deal with the potential wildlife.
Yeah, exactly. Some form of weapon. I'm not going to advocate anyone just run out and get a firearm, but it is, suggested, because you still have bears. You have cougar up in this area anyway. I'll speak for that specifically, but we do have bears. We do have wolf sightings. We do have cougars. So, yeah, prepare for whatever. Prepare for the worst. So make sure you have a stove. Make sure some people recommend a tent. I would say that's up to you. I can build a shelter, and shelters aren't hard to design. I mean, you find yourself under a cedar tree and pull up moss, pull up pine needles for bedding. You take a couple of fallen logs and branches. You make basically a lean-to kind of structure. I'm not going to go into building an igloo or any kind of, because if you take military style cold weather training, is 10th Mountain, and high speed units like that, they actually go into digging in the snow and building snow structures, and you don't need that so much here. So I'm not going to go into it. And I'm going to address the chat room. 3-day of food, water. Pack for, I would say 72 hours, because you have to look at the size of the pack you've got. Do you want a 70-pound pack? That's a lot of weight to be packing around in the mountains. Most people don't. Know the area that you're going in. That's key. Make sure, if you are going to go in the wilderness, make sure somebody knows where you're going, what time they're expecting to come back, things like that. Know the area, what kind of food is up there, what kind of berries might be up there. There is winter food that you can get off the wilderness. Right now, it's late summer, so you still got blueberries. You still got some huckleberries. Salmon berries are gone. There are no salmon berries, but know what seasonal food is going to be in the mountains. Know how to snare, so you can actually trap, squirrels, small rabbits, things of that nature. We actually do have in one of the groups that we run, the Skagit Homesteaders, where we actually have manuals on how to snare, how to trap, how to track, how to survive in the wilderness, things of that nature.
Yeah, that brings in the whole idea of being able to hunt.
Exactly. And we're just talking the basics. We're not going to go into, in depth how to trap and all that.
No.
You got anything to add, Corey? You're awful quiet over there.
He lost his coffee cup.
No, I was just mostly listening to everything you had going on there. I mean, I've been adding in as I come across stuff as I'm going along here. Like I said, if it's winter time and you don't have to be in the mountains, don't. That's the biggest tip, Other than that, if you're going to be making the choice, you're going to make the mental choice to go do this. This is what you're going to go do. Well, then you better be completely prepared for it. And the other thing would be is one of those super heavy-duty sleeping bags, because, if nothing else, at least those will keep you warm and dry. Even if you don't have a tent or anything else, those super Scooby-Doo ones they have for that stuff will withstand freezing, snow, water, rain, everything. And you'd probably be better having one of those if you're going to try to, go hiking around in the winter.
Well, yeah, I want to bring up something too, because Craig's in the chat room. He says, "Why food? Why not just water?" You can survive for 30 days without food, but without water, you did. And I agree with that. But at the same time, if you're going in the mountains, I would use snow for water. I would, you're talking summer months. You're talking a lot more drought. You're talking a lot more of your streams have dried up, depending on where you're at. Again, that's why I say it's important to know the area you're going into. Know what creeks and rivers and whatnot are running around, so you know what water sources you've got. Another trick you can do is you can make a water still. You can take a plastic bag, and in your pack, I always push for take garbage bags. Garbage bags are great. You can use them for ponchos, cut the arms out, use them for a poncho. And if you put them over a bush, you can actually create water. It's got to be a clear bag. The heat creates evaporation, catches the water. It takes a lot, but you can actually use that to make your own water. When I was in Iraq, I actually taught my soldiers how to make a water still, which is in the desert. You dig a hole in the sand. You put a bag in the bottom. You put a bag on the top, and the evaporation from the sun drops the water into the bag in the bottom, and you make a water still. We're not in the desert, so we're not gonna go into that. But there's a lot of tricks and stuff you can do to survive out there. But do you need to waste your weight with water? That's an individual preference. If I did, I would probably get a bladder bag. They make a lot of good hydration bags out there. Camelback is one good one that we used in the Army. So yeah, it's a matter of what you want to pack based on the weight distribution you want to use. And for food, I would pack beef jerky. I would pack trail mix, granola bars, things that is usually what I put when we're going on a day hike. If I'm packing a 24-hour pack, I'll put some real basic protein. And, again, you can find berries. You can find, if you know your plants, dandelions, depending on what you're using in it. But nettle tastes like spinach. You just boil it. Water purification. We already kind of hit that in the beginning of the show, but boil your water at a hard boil for 2 minutes is a way to purify the water. Hydrochlorite tabs, that's actually my preference. 1 to 2 tabs to a quart, and let it sit for 30 minutes, and your water's purified. So what's your thoughts, Keith?
Don't mind me, I turned off the mic. No, I mean, we've covered pretty much everything. I mean, the reality of it is, the other issue is, of course, when you're heading out, for pity's sakes, let somebody know where you're heading and about when you're planning on being back.
Another thing, you bring that up. They make GPS locators. And these are devices that if you're in trouble, you hit a button and it activates satellite to ping on your location. And every federal agency that's monitoring will know right where you're at. Because if you're an avid hiker, if you're an avid wilderness explorer, snowboarder, skier, you go in the mountains all the time, it's really smart to get one, because if you do get in trouble, you're down, you break your leg, you can't get up, you're immobile, hit that tracker and it will activate satellites to locate you, and they'll be up to get you. A lot of people, they are kind of spendy, I believe. I wish we had Steve on the show tonight, because he's got one. But they are kind of spendy. But worth it if you are down in the mountains. And you know what, Dan's in the chat, and he brought up meds. I would pack an extra dose or two of my medication if I was going to go up for a while, because you never know if something's going to happen. You're stuck for a few days. You don't have your medication. Depending on what kind of medication you're taking, I would definitely want my medication with me.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, being, like when he looks at the low blood sugar, that is all the more reason to take something with you to compensate.
Exactly. Low blood sugar, that's where you want something with a sugar content. Lemon drops. That's why I like granola bars, because granola bars Well, the ones they got today have M&Ms in them, so that the granola itself is good for you. You got the M&Ms in there for the sugar content. Just overall good for when you're hiking.
And
Canadians, they just pack
Yeah.
cookies.
Carbs are better for building sugars in your system long term, so you want to have some of that with you. I kind of want to approach this thing that they're talking about here, in the thing about going 30 days without food and a few days without water, and wondering why you would need food to go with you on a winter hike. Well, for one, most of the time when you're talking about 30 days without food, you're talking about 30 days without food, probably not doing a lot of extenuating work, moving, hiking, trying to find stuff, trying to build yourself a shelter, trying to find more water, trying to find food. The fact of the matter is that, when you get up in a situation where you're going to have to be in a survival mode, you don't want to think about having to go 30 days without food. You're going to want to try to have some type of food within a few days, because pretty quickly, if you're having to actually work to build yourself a shelter, to try to find water, to try to find more food, something of that matter, you're going to burn calories at a high rate of speed. And I tell you what, unless you are one tubby son of a gun, you're going to burn fat like it's going out of style. And I don't recommend it as a diet program. I really don't. The fact of the matter is that you're going to get down to a point where you're going to your body's actually going to start eating its own organs to try to survive. And that's a real bad thing, because then your organs start to shut down. When they start to shut down, you're going to get cold quicker. You're going to start getting sick. And I tell you what, you're going to die real fast. So yes, food in your pack is a must, because you need to be able to have something that you can, in a survival situation, that you can ration out enough to be able to keep enough calories in your body to be able to survive to find the things you need.
Exactly. You got anything you're awful quiet over there.
Me? I'm just learning.
You know what I was talking about.
I would say, just my opinion, why would you go out in the elements, especially in the fall or winter time, by yourself? I would say always have somebody go with you. Then if you got injured, you'd have somebody that could go get help and know where you're at least. And I would say, because of all the different terrain, to make sure you have correct boots or shoes to be able to handle that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't go hiking in pumps.
No, yeah. or flip-flops.
Yeah.
You don't go in the mountains with flip-flops on. But yeah, hiking shoes are a must, and you can get basic hiking shoes in any of your normal stores. Walmart, Payless, shoes, things like that. You don't have to. If you're an avid hiker, then yeah, you want to go higher end. But if you're only going every once in a while, if I use combat boots, for example. But yeah, and I totally agree. You see too many people, especially in hunting season, they go hunting by themselves. I don't believe in. I believe in numbers. One, especially in the field we're in, we don't go on a case by ourselves. That's just stupid. You gotta the battle buddy system is what we used in the Army. But it's the same concept of what we do. We don't go on a case by ourselves. It depends on the experience of the individual. Once in a while, I will send, Astral by themselves to scan the case. If they need help, they come back and we get the team involved. When it comes to boots on ground, no, nobody goes alone. At least two people at a minimum. But when it comes to hiking, yeah, I don't get that. I don't get hiking by yourself. Something happens, you're alone. Nobody's going to know what happened to you. Most of these mountains, there is no cell service. You're not going to get a call out. So no, I totally agree, and I don't understand why some people go by themselves. I guess they're. I won't say arrogance.
Even if you know the terrain, you can't predict that everything's going to be fine. Things can happen.
And I agree, and nobody understands why some people go alone. And
well, some of the times it's because the person just literally finds it far more relaxing to go for a hike on their own. Like, I've got friends that do that, but of course understand those particular friends literally grew up in the woods they go hiking in, which doesn't make it perfectly safe, but at least it stacks the odds.
Right.
Yeah.
And so Don's in the chat. How many stories do we hear about of a group going out and one person going missing? Well, now you're entering the realm of David Paulides and Missing 401, and I want to clarify something because I heard another rumor that Paulides is a Bigfoot investigator. No, he's not. Paulides has delved into Bigfoot a couple times, but Paulides' main claim to fame is investigating Missing 411. Missing 401, yeah, that happens all the time where you will have a group. And they were talking, to an individual, and they turned around, and that person's gone. It wasn't a case of a cougar or a bear snatching them. It wasn't nothing like that. There's no signs of blood. There's no signs of drag marks. They're just gone, and that does happen. And those are, by definition, paranormal cases. It happens, you have 1,000 people a year missing in the national forests. So that is, I won't say common, but it does happen. And those are Missing 401 cases. And, he investigates those all the time. And she goes on to, most cases will be a buddy stepping out to pee. And, you never know if something is going to happen. You slip and you fall off a cliff. You step off to relieve yourself and you encounter a cougar. Some of those cases, yeah, they do happen.
Well, that does help you relieve yourself a lot faster.
Well, yeah, I suppose. But
and those cases can happen. But when you're at the group, they know the location of the disappearance. If you're an individual by yourself, then you've got people searching the whole entire mountain because they don't know where the heck you are.
Exactly.
Yep.
And we're coming down. Oh my God, we're coming down to this show actually went quick. We covered a lot of ground tonight. So I think we covered most of what we needed to cover tonight, and we have about 8 minutes. So don't forget, Paracon, September 22nd. That's exactly 2 weeks. Actually, right now, right now we'd be done.
Yeah.
There will be no S4 on that night. Next week we are doing a roundtable. But yeah, there's not going to be a show for the night of Paracon because we're all going to be asleep by then, or partying, one of the two.
I was going to say, I don't know about the sleep thing, but we're certainly not going to be near a radio.
Probably more like party.
More
like partying. We might all go up to the hub. Well, the hub is going to be closed. We'll find somewhere else to go. But we do have the VIP roundtable, which is going to go from 7 to 10, and is going to be a party in and of itself. So again, yeah, if you want to be part of the VIP, you can get your. Yeah, we will. There should be a replay playing that night, Trip. I know on the Fringe there probably will be. But we aren't going to be near. We aren't going to be
I'll look
Go
at
ahead.
it. I'll look at
Okay.
things, and if there is a way that I can somehow broadcast a show from there, I may see about doing the VIP roundtable as a show. But I'm not going to make any promises at this point. I'm going to have to look into it and see. Most likely it'll probably be a replay, one that you can hear on the Fringe. Simply go into thefringe.fm. You'll be able to pull that up and they'll play a replay. But if there's a way that I can do it, I'm going to try. But I'm not going to make any promises at this point. But I may see if we can get the round table VIP as a show.
And that might work. That actually might work. And I will say this: if make sure if you're an FMP, be watching, because I might do a Facebook Live here and there, just to show you what's going on. If we have a good enough phone reception to pull up a Facebook Live, we'll do it by all means. And yeah, that's my only problem. We do have folks paying for VIP, so I don't want just anybody to have VIP access, because that would take away from our ticket payers.
Yeah, that would definitely you'd get a lot of cross current on that one.
Right. So there's not going to be a VIP show based on that, because we do want it to be a special time. We will be recording the VIP, and that will be released a month or two out. But we don't want to take away from those that actually want the personal experience.
I definitely agree with you there.
Right. So there won't be a VIP show.
Well, I might be able to get at least part of the Paracon, possibly. I don't know. We'll see how things go. I'd like to see if we could do something. It would be nice to have something that was live. Or maybe even, pre-recording some interviews with people and speakers and stuff like that, and having that kind of just put together as a show that could be played, on the Fringe or something like that at the time of show.
That sounds good.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, there's no doubt that we can. I think all of us, assuming the hotel has internet, all of us, I'm pretty certain, are able to do some sort of posting to let people know what's going on.
Oh yeah, we do.
And for any new listeners that are out there tonight, if you haven't heard of Forest Moon Paranormal, you can find us on Facebook. Just look for Forest Moon Paranormal. If you have paranormal issues, especially. And jump into the group. All the events, all of our updates, our training schedule, all that kind of stuff is always in the group. Before we do S4, we always throw a link and what the topic's going to be about, that kind of stuff. And I want to close with, if you hear anything negative about FMP or myself or anyone on our team, if you want to clarify rumors, just get a hold of us. Don't feed into negativity. Don't feed into crap. We can clarify any rumors easy enough. But there's so many people that feed into negativity and they run with it. And those are the ones you got to watch out for. But the FMP is blowing up. It is. Now, we're global. We have been global for years, but there's more and more people that are finding out about what we do, the skills that we have, the areas we cover, which are expanding daily. And every year we take on more. And on taking on more, we have to get more people. We have to get more skills. And, so with that, we're here. We're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. Keep that in mind. And great show tonight, guys. Next week, again, I know Corey's going to say it again, but we have Roundtable. Roundtable is always a blast. Oh, my God. It's fun. So you guys have a great night. Have a great week. And we'll see you next week. And Corey, go ahead and take us home.
I can do that. we go. At least make it where people can hear me. I'd like to thank our panel, our Keith Andrews, astrologer and alien specialist, and Chris Dodge of F&P Aftercare team. Join us next Saturday at midnight Pacific Standard Time as we'll be having our monthly round table. You can find us on Spreaker.com, The Fringe FM, and KSVU 90.1 for our local listeners. I would like to thank all of our listeners because without you, there is no S4. Good night, and remember, keep your eyes to the skies.
Hi, my name's Ken, and I own Good Start Packaging in Bedford, New Hampshire. With my Spark Cash Card from Capital One, I earn unlimited 2% cash back on all my business purchases. And last year, that added up to $36,000 in cash back. That's right, $36,000. Thanks to that, I was able to offer healthcare to my employees. The Spark Cash Card did a lot for my business. Imagine what it could do for yours. What's in your wallet?
Real Capital One customers paid for real stories. Credit approval required.